Welcome everyone, I'm Jose 21 Crisis and today we will be opening a new episode of the Mendoza Career. To some of you, that name will be weird, as you probably never heard it before, especially if you don't follow the blog, which is where this series started. The Mendoza Career is a series on F1 Challenge 9902 where we follow the career of one Alex Mendoza. The 1999 season has already been completed, all of it is in the blog in image format. At the time I didn't have a capable enough computer to do video, but now I do, at least decent enough to be able to record. So future episodes of this series will be uploaded here on YouTube. That said, there's some canon that you might be missing if you don't read all of the previous episodes that are in the blog. Remember, it's the entire 1999 season. Today we will be starting the 2000 season with the preseason episode, so if you see or hear something that's quite weird or that doesn't line up with real life, it's probably related to the own canon that the Mendoza Career has. Now, it's time to explain something very important. Now, since this is the preseason episode, we want to know how good or how bad each car will be this season. Now, I could just take all of the raw numbers in the game, chuck them here and tell you this car is good or bad for this, that and that, but that's just not interesting. So instead, I took those numbers, put them in a very interesting system that I shall explain in a moment, to show you how good or bad each car actually is relative to each other. So here I present you the 20 to 80 scale. What is this scale? Well, 50 is a perfectly average component or car. 80 is the best possible score you can achieve. If you're an 80, you are the best in F1 in that category. If you have an 80 car, you are the best car in Formula 1. If you have an 80 rear wing, you have the best rear wing in Formula 1. On the other hand, if you're a 20, it is the lowest possible score. If you have engine power of 20, it means you have the weakest engine in all of Formula 1, which is definitely not a good ranking to have. And as I said, 50 is average, so anything above 50, it's very good. Anything below 50 can be bad, especially if it is close to 20. With all that in mind, it's time to begin the preseason episode, and let's talk about the current World Driver Champions, McLaren. McLaren retain current World Champion Mika Hakkinen as well as the very reliable David Coulthard. They are hoping to get both Drivers and Constructors Championship this time, considering last time they only managed to get one of them. Their car can take the fight to Ferrari and win both titles. They have the lowest amount of drag among any other car in Formula 1, although they are a bit lacking in terms of downforce compared to the Scuderia. Their engine is the best in all of F1, generating the most power as well as having the best reliability in all of Formula 1 right now. The MP415 is certainly a car capable of winning both titles. That said, even the Mercedes power plant had issues during preseason testing as Mika Hakkinen lost an engine in a very hot Spanish day. While this won't affect them for the start of the year, it goes on to show that no one is safe from reliability. Ferrari are more than prepared to fight for this year's championship, with Michael Schumacher, two-time world champion, and the newest F1 winner Rubens Barrichello. They are waiting to get back and win both Drivers and Constructors Championship. Their car is certainly capable to fight, as they generate the most downforce out of any other car, along with a very respectable amount of drag on their car. The Ferrari power plant is definitely very powerful, although not as reliable as they will expect. Nevertheless, they are the highest rated team in Formula 1 and they expect to take both titles back from McLaren. Jordan had a very interesting 1999 as they both nearly fought for the championship and at times struggled to fight Minardi. This time around they hope to fight for third or better in the championship. That said, their car doesn't look as solid as the Ferrari or McLaren, and their duo of Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Jarno Trulli doesn't look as solid as the Ferrari or McLaren duos. Nevertheless, they hope to be able to hold on to third against the assault of both Williams and the also Honda-powered VAR. Jaguar boasts a very interesting lineup in the form of championship contender Eddie Irvine as well as Rookie of the Year Alex Mendoza. Powered by Works Ford Power, they expect to be taking third or better in the championship. However, this might only be a dream, as preseason testing showed that their car doesn't generate as much downforce as they expected, and their drag is more significant than they ever planned, which means that their Ford Power unit is drowned by this extra drag. As the year progresses, we will see how truly effective is Ford's Works team. Williams hoped to bounce back from a very disappointing 1999 season, now with a lineup of Ralf Schumacher and Jenson Button. They hope both of them will be able to score points this time. However, their biggest unknown is their BMW engine. While from testing it shows that its power and reliability are sufficient, that's only testing. We'll only see how good they truly are when the races start. But if it does deliver, the chassis is very capable of finishing third this year. Can they beat Jordan and VAR? Only time will tell. Minardi had a truly historic season in 1999 as they scored 2 podiums, their first in F1 history. From that, they managed to get a Ford partnership deal that will get them engines for free, as well as more powerful engines that they would have gotten otherwise. The cost, however, was losing the driver that got them said podiums. However, things are looking bleak for the Italian team, as their car design isn't as solid as they would have expected, and while their engine is certainly more powerful than the other engine they would have gotten, it's certainly not the best. It is, however, very reliable. So while we don't expect a repeat from Minardi's Montreal Miracle, we expect to see how good they can be. Their lineup boasts returning Marc Genet as well as rookie Gaston Mazzacane. What can they do? We will see. Benetton, just like Williams, had a down year in 1999 as they scored just as many points as VAR and got outscored by the Minardi team. This time around they hope to bounce back, and their car design is certainly solid enough to do that. They trust Giancarlo Fisichella and Alexander Wurz to put up more points than last year, and they certainly have the car to do so. Now, it is only on their execution on whenever they will be able to score more points. In 1999, despite a mediocre car and an underpowered engine, VAR managed to score points. This time around, it seems their car design is far superior to last year, as well as having work support from Honda, as well as a very powerful engine. Retaining their lineup of John Newhouse, Jacques Villeneuve, as well as Ricardo Zonta, they hope to bounce forward and fight Williams and Jordan for third in the World Constructors' Championship. Tensions are beginning to flare in France regarding the Prost team, mostly between constructor and engine supplier. For one, the Prost team's design doesn't seem to be solid. It can fight with Minardi, but no one else. As for Peugeot, the engine supplier, their engine is certainly not solid. It is very powerful, and the amount of torque it can output is amazing. However, reliability is a major sticking point. With a lineup of John Alesi and rookie Nick Heidfeld, the Prost team hopes to at least survive the year, if at least to score some points. Sauber's chances of fighting in the midfield in the 1999 season were dashed when their design, although very solid for a midfielder team, was terrible in terms of reliability. to the point that even the reliable Ferrari engine suffered at the back of the Sauber. This time around, the reliability seems to be better, and their design is again solid for midfielder standards, if a bit below average. A lineup of Pedro Diniz and Mika Salo will try to extract as much performance from the Sauber package. To close out this episode, we have Arrows, the only team unable to score any points throughout the 1999 season. Last year, they were hampered by a terrible car design and underpowered engine that didn't let them get anywhere. This time around, they have focused on increasing their top speed, producing some of the lowest drag coefficients in any car at the cost of downforce. Similarly, their SuperTech engine is very capable, if a bit unreliable. With a lineup of Pedro de la Rosa and Jos Verstappen, they hope to score points this time around, especially in the very high-speed racetracks. And that's it for the preseason episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again for the opening race of the 2000 season in the Mendoza Career.